Good afternoon. This week's discussion question has us asking, what is the relevance of Western civilization today? Western civilization remains relevant today because it continues the Latin idea of quattrocentro, that of prosperity, security, and peace. Western civilization stands in contrast to oppression and arbitrary power, which is so common in the rest of the world. Instead, it demands that society accept and adhere to the rule of law. Yet the idea of Western civilization provides us with the dilemma of contrasting freedom and liberty, or more specifically, the idea of freedom and liberty. And therefore, we must look to Western civilization not in the Braudelian sense of an attachment to a geographic area where man is attached to the ecology of the soil, but rather an embracement of ideas. This contrast becomes one of good and evil, pitting the gift of free will and basing instinct or sin against the backdrop of order and the rule of law. So therefore, Western civilization at its very core forces us to focus on the dignity of the individual, despite the fact that we know there have been historical lapses in the concept, whether it be slavery or genocide or any number of different things that would have us question Western civilization and its performance over the centuries. But we cannot lose sight of the relationship between Protestant beliefs and faith in the ideas of liberty and freedom. And so Western civilization, it also includes a relationship between language, specifically the English language, and the idea of liberty with its Latin roots, of freedom or Freiheit with its Germanic etymology and influence, as we heard from Dr. Carey Roberts in his presentation, his lecture. It reminds me of the Reverend William Smith in a sermon that he gave in Philadelphia in 1775, where he talked about as General Washington was leaving to take on the British. Religion and liberty must flourish or fall together in America, and we pray that both may be perpetual. Edmund Burke, in his reflections on the French Revolution, asked the question, what is liberty without virtue and wisdom? He answered it that it is the greatest of all evils, and the relevance of Western civilization remains strong, but it's in jeopardy without an adherence to that which made it possible in the first place. This requires an adherence to virtue and the discipline of self-government. It's a fine balance between democracy and republicanism. Better said, it's the idea that liberty and the law are inversely proportional. And I think this is an argument where I believe our discussion should lead us in this week's discussion. Thank you.